Greetings, and today in LGR Foods, we're going to make an awesome sandwich that... Wait, this is Thrifts. Let's go thrifting. I'm in the wrong store. So we're going to start off the day at a Goodwill, because of course we are, and right as soon as we get inside, there are some Goodwill cookies for 99 cents. These Lady Sarah vanilla cookies of dubious quality. I don't know about Goodwill edibles. Anyway, over here, though, is NCAA Final Four for the Sega Genesis, the cartridge inside of the case. Not something I need or want, but there you go. Over into puzzles and board games, I almost wasn't interested in anything, but then I saw this MSI motherboard box, and inside was a bunch of cables and adapters, including one for AT to PS2 keyboards. That's actually quite useful. I don't need any more right now, but yeah, that's a thing. Here's one of these monsters. I always like taking a look at these big stereo consoles. This one was $35 for a mid-century Magnavox Micromatic made in England. It's got a record player, radio, and knobs and switches and things that I like messing with, but I would probably never put in my house because it's huge. Also happen to see the remains of a Pioneer stereo system over here, including these pretty sweet speakers, or they look sweet at least, CSF 7001s. Nothing I'm needing here at all, but I mean, I just like looking at this stuff. Look at this receiver. Look at all these inputs and outputs. Just imagine all of the things you could I/O. There's a lonely Xbox over here on the shelf, but that doesn't really have my attention like this Noma Add-A-Light 7-light set with safety plug from Westinghouse, or it has got Westinghouse lamps in it. More mid-century weirdness. I don't think there's really anything safety about this, at least in modern terms, but it's amusing to look at. As is this gigantic CRT projector here. This is an Electrohome ECP 3100. What a beast! I've never seen a projector like this at Goodwill. Speaking of Goodwills, it's on to another one. And inside the glass case up front are a couple of fascinating Star Trek toys. From Next Generation, we have the Starship Enterprise and a Shuttlecraft for $25 and $15 respectively. I was kinda tempted. Also kind of fascinating, if only for their quantity, is a bunch of like Pepsi and Coke bottles, older collectibles. At least I assume they're collectible. They're here, and I'm sure someone will be able to tell me if they were actually worth $3 each. Not something I'm interested in. I was, however, kinda sort of interested in this Casio, a CA110. Not like to buy, but just like to touch for a second. Look at that, I touched it. Also like looking at things like this right here. Check out this friggin' mixer, a Yamaha EMX 2300 with some lovely VU meters and, $125, and it was gone the next day, so I guess somebody thought it was worth it. Ah man, remember when 3D TVs and glasses were a thing? Yeah, here's a pair of pairs for $3 each, some LG AG something or other 3D glasses. Yeah, I'm glad that trend died. It was not comfortable for me to look at. Over in the electronicals, and I found something that almost looked like an MSX at first, but no, this is a Panasonic word processing unit, an electronic typewriter, an R430 model, and Panasonic did make MSX computers around the time that this thing was made, so it kind of makes sense that it looks sort of like those. Some design languages shared, but yeah, not something I'm going to get, it's just a word processor. Nearby that is a VCR with a top-loading unit right here. This is a Sanyo model. A really interesting design. I was actually kind of tempted to get this. I didn't, but old units like this quite amuse me, I gotta say. It's one of those with a plug-in remote control. Model number VCR 4400. And yeah, it just sort of makes me happy to see these things show up every so often. Now this caught my attention for being rather different to what I normally see at Goodwill. A Videonics Edit Suite, an AB roll edit controller, and then beside that was pretty much a Sony version of the same thing, an RM250 editing controller. Look at those wheels and jog shuttle controls and all that. This is a pretty sweet little deal if you wanted to, edit some analog video, which I don't, but I mean, that's interesting. Checking out the puzzles and board games because you never know, and I did find some board games that were of slight interest to me in here. These are some Avalon Hill bookcase games. This right here is Outdoor Survival, a game about wilderness skills, and Football Strategy, a game about strategic footballness. These are from 1972, pretty old, and also kind of beat up and missing some stuff, so I didn't get them. Checking out the CDs and whatnot, and these do not look legit whatsoever. Found someone's pirate movie collection here. Yeah, they tried, right? But it's just burned DVDs. There you go. Yar, matey. Around the corner though, and oh man, this is my kind of thing right here. Check out all these PC games and big boxes. Oh, Had Rails Across America, a Battle Blitz 4-in-1 pack, World War III, Man of War 2, Civilization 3, Marine Sharpshooter 2 in a small box, Rocky Mountain Trophy Hunter, okay, Traffic Giant, I've been wanting that one, Robot Arena, I've been wanting that one too, and Vigilance, also been wanting this. $4 each, not bad. Alright, on to this Goodwill here with the Lucky Rock out front, but there were some people unloading and loading, or I don't know what they were doing, but they were in front of the rock and I didn't want to disturb anyone with my activities. Anyway, lots of Halloween cheapo crap inside because it is that time for cheapo crap time of year, time. And look at all these crafting supplies. Man, that is a lot of supplies for crafting, including a vintage box of Super Sculpey. That's interesting, I like Sculpey. I was curious to see if it was any kind of decent shape inside, and it looks like I wasn't the only one. Some people had been doing the same thing I was doing and bothering the corner of it. But yeah, it seemed to be half decent. What a weird color though. Speaking of weird, check this out. This is just like some restaurant unloaded their signage. This is like their menu. The whole thing is still on there. I guess they're just like, yeah, we don't need this menu anymore, so give it to Goodwill? How does this happen? They just didn't even erase it. That's just bizarre to me. This is pretty cool. Check out this freezer, refrigerator, or something or other here. This Coca-Cola wood grain thing. Yeah, man. This is my kind of vending machine. I'm not really sure how it would work, but obviously it took 2 nickels or 1 dime. Needed a good cleaning. And honestly, I was just somewhat tempted by this Cornelius machine, but it was $180. I don't think so. It looks like they're finally lowering the prices on their overpriced crappy Dell computers. Not just the CPU, you get the whole computer. And I love this background. Buy this. It has Microsoft Paint. That's a reason to get it, man. It's worth $69 just for paint. Down below here we have TGI Fridays mouse pad, and those are some delectable late 90s, early 2000s folks. Kids of the future are going to ask me about this kind of artwork and why we did it, and I'm going to have no response. I don't know what this was about either. In the glass case, we have some interesting things here. A couple of Atari TV systems, as well as a couple of original 2600 controllers, and their console games have been all moved into this. They're not up for auction. They are priced individually between $5 to $10 or so. Not really anything catching my eye here, though. On the other side, though, just the regular media shelving. This caught my eye just because it's a larger box piece of software, complete home office suite, don't care, and Adaptec Go Back, the power to undo PC problems. Not something I really want, but hey, look at it. Couple so happy that computer's backed up. And over in the CD section, I found this one lonely looking thing with attractive artwork and shiny stickers and stuff on it. It's it's some sort of VCD package about koi, like just raising them, a whole bunch of things. It was too curious for me not to pick up. I picked it up. Now this grabbed my eye because it looked like an older computer kind of thing at first with just this kind of packaging, but nope, this is the Collegiate 1000 typewriter, 1985. Yep. That's definitely from 1985. I love the way that looks. Looks like somebody was into little tiny Barneys and a lot of M&M's collectibles. Yeah. Ain't no judgments for me. I collect weirder crap all the time. Stuff like this, although this is not something that I picked up. Look at this old phone, man. It's a little older than I normally see at a Goodwill. This is a monophone from the Automatic Electric Company, see? Check out the plug on the end of that. Like, whoa, man, that's wild. Thing felt good, man. $25 is a bit much for me for being beat up. Now this, there we go. I'm not gonna say no to this. A PC dust cover for large personal computers. A large assortment of classic 80s computers on the back there that it'll fit, so yeah, I'm picking that up for sure. 50 cents, man. So this is kind of interesting. Over in the electronics section, I found a DA5900 4-speed digital audio CD recorder by TDK. I don't normally see these kind of dedicated CD copying dubbing units, so that was, I don't know, it stood out. This Toshiba ST335 tuner stood out as well. As RV meters on the front, those are actually the signal meters. It's just for getting the radio. But I love the design, man. Can't help it. It's my kind of thing. This is even more my kind of thing. Check this little beastie out. This is a color Panasonic TV from the 80s. A Color Pilot. 1983, I believe. $5, absolutely grabbing this. And holy crap, I was not expecting to see these at Goodwill of all places. These are Roland MA8s. These are stereo micro monitors, computer speakers, made for hooking up to whatever you need, but I wanted them because they would pair nicely with something I was planning, the MIDI Mountain. I've already made that video, you might have already seen it where I showed these, but yeah, I was just looking at them on eBay and they were $8 here at Goodwill for a pair. Whereas online at the time, the last pair sold for $84.99. So yeah, I felt pretty good about getting them for $8. Definitely check out my MIDI Mountain video if you'd like to see these in use. Alright, one more Goodwill as the sun is starting to set. Doesn't that look nice? Didn't find a whole lot here, but in the electronics, this stood out to me. This is a Humax VA3210 satellite MPEG-2 receiver. I don't know exactly where this came from, but it takes these little smart cards, or so it calls them, which appears to have given it access to some sort of France Telecom thing. Yeah, not really something I would pick up. In fact, I would not even have any use for it, but I just thought it was kind of fascinating to see at a Goodwill. Now this I found even more interesting. This right here is a Technosonic Weight Talker 3 electronic talking scale. If you read Garfield comics as much as me as a kid, you'll know why I found this amusing. I always enjoyed the strips with the sarcastic talking scale, and I assumed that it was devices like this that it was based on. You know, I never really thought about it before. I saw a Polaroid bag over here, and yeah, there's kind of an interesting little land camera inside. Nothing particularly like rare or outstanding, but you know, it was in pretty decent shape, so there we go. Square Shooter 2. Checking out the media, and this absolutely caught my eye. We have a little holder here filled with NES cartridges. It was $40 for a selection of games that were very honestly not worth that. There's a controller in there too, but yeah, $40, no. Saw quite a few PlayStation 2 games mixed in with the DVDs over here, including a couple of them that I actually have not picked up yet. One of them being Midnight Club 2. Somehow I have never played this one, only like the first one, the third and fourth, and I don't know, I skipped 2 somehow, so I'm grabbing this. And also Driv 3R, or Driver 3. I'm particularly fond of this series, even though this one is not the greatest, but I'm going to get it because I didn't own it. And that is all for episode 36 of LGR Thrifts. Took a good couple months or so to find all these things, but it eventually all came together to make an episode out of. Got some awesome big box PC games, a few of which I had been looking for quite a while. A couple of console titles, a weird koi fish pond VCD thing, a dust cover for old computers. And of course, that awesome TV and these speakers, which are not pictured, but I'm going to show you what they look like here. Yes, the TV works wonderfully. I have it hooked up to a VCR here and playing some weird VHS tapes that I had found at Goodwill previously. This thing just amuses me to no end. I love this old TV. And then of course the Roland speakers. One of them didn't work when I got them, but all it needed to be was taken apart and put back together, and it was fine really. It was just a couple of wires that come loose on the secondary speaker, and there you go. Plugs in, works just fine. And again, watch my MIDI Mountain video if you'd like to see more of these. And finally, I leave you with some footage of that bizarre koi pond VCD. Enjoy.
个性刚强有力，游姿雄然，堪称淡水鱼王。
最漂亮的一条鱼。秋水呢，它的背上呢只有一排鳞片。
Isn't that awesome? You know, if there's anything that somebody needs in their collection, it's a weird koi pond video CD like this one. Or maybe not. Maybe you wanted to pick up the kind of things like you're seeing here. You have been sending me all sorts of photos of different thrifting finds over the past couple of months, so thank you very much. I'm glad you've been having arguably more luck than me in finding things out there. I don't know, it's just been a slow couple months, but that is how it goes because thrifting relies on luck. I don't just go out there and set things up. I do end up just finding things out of luck, so sorry it takes a while. But anyway, as always, thank you very much for watching.